time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Good to see everybody this morning. I'm your host, Jake Schaff. Recently, the West Bloomfield community took some time to celebrate and honor some of the change makers who've made a dramatic impact in the past year. The Key to the Township Awards took place recently at the Wabeek Country Club, and several big names in West Bloomfield got the recognition that they deserved. I was there to hear from some of the award winners, as well as other West Bloomfield officials, to hear what they had to say about this year's event.
Well, it's a great honor to be among leaders, business leaders, and community leaders who make a big difference in the lives of many residents in the greater West Bloomfield Township. There's no community that thrives without commerce. And that's why it's important that we recognize business leaders who not only succeed in business in their communities, but they also give back to the community that they do business at. And those individuals who are being honored today, they fit that description. They're successful at what they do, and they also give back to the community.
What is it like to be here today and being recognized here at the Key to the Township Awards?
Man, it's a little overwhelming in the best way possible, of course, but it's exciting just to see the community come together to celebrate. You know, we stay busy throughout the year, and taking that time out to just be together to celebrate the wins from the year is really very special, I think.
I'm so grateful for this. I never thought in a million years that I would be getting honored and getting an award for something that is truly my passion. It's an awesome feeling. I'm here with my husband and my son, and you know, my son's watching all this and he's seeing it all unravel, and he sees that anything you put your mind to, no matter what, you can actually achieve it. So he's definitely seeing that.
I'm really honored and really happy about this reward today. I feel entitled, and it's an honor for me to share that prize with the people I love and the people I serve. It's an honor for me to be here with this beautiful audience. I hope that will be something that will be going on and on every year.
It's really exciting to honor these great individuals. There's so many that we could honor, and hopefully every year we will repeat this. But I think the most important thing to remember is that anyone can be a local hero. Anyone can help our community survive. Anyone can help us support it, because really small businesses especially are the backbone of our country, and anything we can do to keep them in business is really a great thing for our West Bloomfield Township area.
I feel like everybody should take away the knowledge that it's important to be a part of a community. It's important to give to that community. It's important to participate in that community. It's important to go to the business restaurants, whatever, if they have online services. It's important to honor the people that are in your community doing the business and providing the services. So hopefully people attending this event will understand how important it is to support one another and to shout it out to the broader community.
It was such a fun time out at the Key to the Township Awards in Greater West Bloomfield, and a big congratulations to all of the award winners for all of the incredible work that they have done throughout the past year in this community. Some traffic updates to be aware of that might affect your commute. The west half of the Orchard Lake Road and Walnut Lake Road intersection is currently closed due to a gas main break. The remainder of the intersection is open, but traffic is moving slowly. It's best to avoid the area if at all possible, and it is currently unknown when repairs will be completed. But for more updates on the matter, head over to Facebook at RoadComm, COMM, for more updates, or you can head to rcocweb.org for more updates on this matter and to hopefully find out soon when things are going to start opening up again. The first day of school for the 2025-26 West Bloomfield School District is Monday, August 25th. To make back-to-school preparations easier, the district has moved to an all-online enrollment system. Families must log into PowerSchool to complete the back-to-school update packet for each student, and this must be done before school starts. If you need help with your login or password, you can contact your school or visit the PowerSchool help page on their website at wbsd.org to find out some more information. But it is crazy that we are already almost at the end of August and back to school is just right around the corner. Summer truly does fly by every single year. A West Bloomfield basketball camp gave local kids more than just hoop skills. It's delivering life lessons from a Michigan State legend. Gregory Kelser, former Detroit Piston and NCAA champion, was back in the gym recently teaching fundamentals, teamwork, and the value of education. Our own Kevin McIntosh visited the camp to see how Kelser is inspiring the next generation on and off the court.
We're here at West Bloomfield High School, where Gregory Kelser, Michigan State champion, NBA veteran, and broadcaster, is personally leading a week-long basketball camp. But this isn't just about layups and defense. For these kids, it's all about leadership, sportsmanship, and learning what it takes to succeed beyond the court.
My favorite part of the camp is probably the people. I mean, I've met a lot of cool people with a lot of different skill sets, and that's very important to me.
Speaking to Coach Tay and Coach Strickland, they tell us what the camp offers and what it's been like coaching over time.
It offers a lot. You got the kids, they all come here, getting to know each other. So like the camaraderie of everything, and just like getting better. We got some dogs in here, we got people that love to compete, and I think this camp just brings that out of all kids.
I've been working with this camp with Greg and them for over 10 years, watching the youth grow up, coming back every year, having fun with the kids, and watching some of the kids go on to bigger and better things. You know, it's about learning, education, teamwork. That's what we teach here.
Beyond drills and scrimmages, former NBA player Gregory Kelser is coaching something deeper, and he tells us why basketball is a good way to teach life lessons.
Because basketball is all about team, working together, sacrificing, all for the common good. And those are all things that I think can be very, very important, or will be essential as you move out into the world as an adult. And some of the young athletes talk about the skills they improve on from the camp.
When I came here, I was not really the best at dribbling, but that it's definitely improved. So I can say I learned some new dribbling moves.
I like shooting.
You like shooting?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, tell me something that you've learned since you've been here.
I learned some more defense.
With so much that he gives back to the community, coaches speak on what it's like working with Mr. Kelser.
Oh, very good. I go back with Greg to 1974. We went to high school in the same era. So I played ball against him. I played with Purge. He played with Henry Ford. So I've been knowing him for years.
Oh, yeah, it's great, man. Greg, he's a legend around here. Everybody knows him, his camps. Everybody who hooped in the, Metro Detroit area been to a Greg Kelser camp.
Kelser makes it a point to be present, offering advice and personal stories about how education opened doors in his life just as basketball did.
The basketball and all the other sports that you endeavor are privileges. You don't really have to have them, but your education is something that is absolutely essential, and it's the foundation. It's the thing that's going to carry you farthest. Even if you're fortunate enough to beat the odds and become a professional athlete like I did, it doesn't last forever. You still better have something else to fall back on.
Whether these kids go on to play high school basketball or simply carry these lessons throughout their life, they spend the week learning from one of the greatest, not just in basketball, but in leadership. From West Bloomfield High School, I'm Kevin McIntosh, Civic Center TV.
Appreciate the work, Kevin, for going out and getting that story. And it is such an incredible opportunity for young athletes to learn from a hometown hero, especially someone who's been in that big game atmosphere and has played in the big leagues for the Detroit Pistons. For more on Gregory Kelser's upcoming camps or community involvement, you can head to their website at gregorykelser.com for more information. Summer is still here and the sun is still beating down on everybody. Excessive heat often coincides with high UV index levels, which significantly increases the risk of sunburn, premature aging, and skin cancer, especially during midday hours, which is usually 10 a.m. to about 4 p.m. All of that exposure to the sun's rays means that protecting your skin is of the utmost importance. We recently spoke with dermatologist Dr. Molly Powers to learn how we can stay safe and healthy while sitting out in the sun.
Thanks for being here, Dr. Powers.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
And we appreciate that. So let's get straight into it. We've been experiencing some hot days recently. It's like the sun is literally right here in Greater West Bloomfield. Let's talk about what are some of the top sun protection concerns that you're seeing right now with this extreme heat affecting our residents.
Oh, it's been so hot. And with that comes our human nature to want to cool down and also enjoy the most out of our summer. So what we're seeing a lot are more and more sunburns. People are going out and seeking water sports and playing in pools and trying to keep cool. But with that and being outside and being in the sun definitely adds more ultraviolet radiation. So I'm seeing a lot of patients coming in after long weekends at a lake or in a pool or at a splash pad. And when they're playing in the water and not using the right sun protective tools, it increases your risks for burns and ultimately sun damage and DNA damage in our skin later on.
Yeah, I was reading the notes. It was saying increased aging and stuff like that. I like to go outside and get my vitamin D from the sun as well, but if it's gonna make me age faster, you can keep me in the house for all of that. That's kind of crazy. So, I mean, but we like to enjoy it. We've been in the house all winter, Dr. Powers. We want to get outside now. So for us that want to go outside, enjoy time on a lake, on our boats, or just out on the splash pad for a couple hours, what's your advice for that long-term sun protection during those heat waves?
Yeah, I feel that too. These Michigan winters are long and we had not so great springs, so we definitely want to make the most out of our summers, but there's a safe way to do it. It's really about the adequate sun protection. So sunscreen, particularly broad spectrum sunscreen, that's protecting against UVA damage and UVB. So that's the type of ultraviolet. Also, wearing sun protective clothing. I think this is often underutilized, wearing long rash guards, wide brim hats, and let's not forget to protect our eyes because I see skin cancers on the eyelids, the lower eyelids. We need to protect all of our skin. Additionally, the simplest thing is just try to avoid those peak sun hours that you mentioned, 10 and 4. Those are the times of the day where it's really the most damaging to our skin. So if we could try to get a morning time outside and then maybe a later afternoon, evening time outside to get our vitamin D and fun in the sun, that's a lot safer than going out in the middle of the day.
Woo, because it felt like an oven out there. I'm not going to lie to you. But, you know, ultimately, like you said, we want to go outside. We want to enjoy our time. But we have to be like, I don't think people really understand the precautions and the dangers of being in the sun so long and exposing yourself to it as well. And with me right here live on The Splash, by the way, Dr. Molly Powers from Henry Ford Hospital, Department of Dermatology, talking about protecting our skin from the sun, these heat waves. It can get crazy out there. Now, I do want to talk about this, right? I mean, you just gave some great advice and things of that nature for the average resident, but what about for our most vulnerable populations, the children, the seniors? Do you have any advice or specific precautions that you recommend for that population?
Yeah, for our kids, they love to be outside. Let's start with infants. If a child is less than 6 months, really we should be prioritizing sun avoidance or sun protective clothing. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommend sunscreen for 6 months or older. I also recommend, so when the child is 6 months or older, it's safe to start using a zinc oxide or a titanium dioxide sunscreen. Hats, shade, and of course, I mean, we're talking just about the skin. It's also important to protect them from the heat.
Right. Yeah.
Children, infants, they don't have the same mechanisms to cool themselves down, and they can't tell us. So it's very important to have safe heat practices for that population. Now, in particular, the older population, it can be quite complicated because some of our older population is also on medications that can make them more sensitive to the sun. They might be out in the sun trying to do their work that they need to do around the house. So it's very important that we educate our older population about medication interactions, trying to be out earlier in the day or later in the day. And let's check on our neighbors. We're a community here, and we should be checking on our younger and our older friends and family and neighbors to make sure everyone's doing okay, especially with some of the power outages and the inability to seek cooler, temperature-controlled climates indoors.
Well said. Yeah, no, it's a good time to go out and do that, especially if you know you do have an older neighbor or something like that, and they might need some care or someone to look out for them. Yeah, just pay them a visit. Just make sure, too, because, yeah, even the ACs, like using the AC at home during that time, 10 to 4, like they can hit you over the head just for those charges. So it's so many different things that go into play with this heat and how we can kind of manage ourselves and our home and our temperatures. But we're glad to have you here to kind of break some of that stuff down as well. Now, I just have a random question. Let's say someone wants to get out. This is their tradition, to get outside, soak in this sun, and just like let it absorb in their skin for some time. Like, how long or when should someone know, like, I've been outside too long and I need to like leave? Like, is there marks on your body? Like, give me some signs.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, really, anytime you're going to be under direct sunlight, you should be using sunscreen. And because there's no amount of safe sun exposure that we know of. So you have to be using sunscreen. I have tons of friends who love to be in the sun, and I try to tell them, wear your sunscreen. It can lead to skin cancer, like you mentioned, premature aging, signs of too much sun. Your skin can develop a heat rash, so you can get red bumps from the sun. You can get little, like another type of sweat rash where your sweat glands are working too much and it causes these little fluid-filled bumps from the sun. So it's more than just sun damage and the increased risk of skin cancer and aging. It can lead to a lot of heat rashes. And that's not fun either, because heat rashes, once your skin isn't working properly, it can't keep you cool the way it needs to. So we really need to take care of our largest organ, which is our skin.
True. Skin cancer and bumps and aging. That makes me, I'm almost scared of the sun at this point. I'm about to avoid the sun altogether.
No, don't be afraid. We want to have fun. We're in Michigan. We earned our summers. Let's enjoy it, but let's do it safely.
No, well said, and we appreciate that. Thank you again for your time, Dr. Power. Any additional information that we didn't go over that you want to share with our residents before we let you go?
I guess one of the things I want to talk about is I hear a lot of patients who say, I'm in the shade, I'm never in the sun. And I just want to say the shade is not adequate sun protection. So wear your sunscreen, wear your sun protective clothing, have fun this summer, be safe from the heat. And thanks so much for having me.
No, thank you for your professional expertise and information. Once again, Dr. Molly Powers, Henry Ford Hospital, Department of Dermatology. Thank you.
Thank you.
appreciate Dr. Molly Powers for stopping by and for sharing this very important information that everybody should still be taking into consideration throughout the rest of the month of August, especially people who are going to be going on vacation to some very hot locations very soon, including myself. I'm going to be going on vacation next week to Zion National Park in Utah and then spending a few days in Las Vegas. It is going to be very, very hot, so all of this is very useful information. We appreciate Dr. Powers for taking the time to be with us here on The Splash Live. Oakland County runs a beach monitoring program from early June through August, testing around 100 beaches on about 70 inland lakes, with weekly sampling for E. coli. A beach is closed if its daily geometric mean E. coli level reads about 100 milliliters, or if the 30-day geometric mean reads 100 milliliters. Here to tell us, Mark Hansel from the Oakland County Health Division recently joined us on The Splash Live to tell us more information. Mark, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Very important conversation to have right now, especially since we're still in the heart of summer right now. People are going to be wanting to go to the beach, going to want to relax throughout the day, but it's important to make sure that the beach you're going to is safe. How does Oakland County decide which beaches to monitor each summer, and what's the process behind choosing those 100 beach sites?
Yeah, great question. So we have a good combination of beaches, quite a few. We got a lot of inland lakes here in Oakland County, and we have about 250 known beaches here in Oakland County that we can monitor at any given summer. So we have at least 50 to 55 what we call truly public beaches. Now, these are your parks, pay-to-swim areas, but there are a lot of municipal, county, even state parks here in Oakland County where we will do monitoring every year on those 55 or so beaches. So to round out the additional 45 or so beaches, we have a rotation schedule where we can select these, we call them semi-private beaches. Now, these are going to be like homeowner associations, beach clubs, a lot of association beaches that we call semi-public, and we rotate those in every year. So it's about every 4 years or so that we can test these semi-public beaches.
Interesting. Very interesting to hear about the process, and it's important that everyone has this information since it's already affected things here in Greater West Bloomfield, as so far this summer, Grove and Willow beaches on Cass Lake in Kego Harbor were closed due to high E. coli levels. What do residents and visitors in Greater West Bloomfield need to know about that situation?
Well, they need to monitor that closure. So we have websites available. If you go to oakgov.com/health, you will find our beach page with a simple search, and you will be able to see which beaches are closed and whether, if it's going to be reopened. Please know that if the beach is closed, we sample it every day until we can get a result that would indicate that it is safe to swim. There's also, if you type into your favorite browser, Michigan Beach Guard, you will also find the individual sample results listed for the beach of interest. So, something like Cass Lake, one of the biggest lakes in Oakland County. So it's important to know that, the sampling at the beach, at the swim area itself is not going to be an indicator of the lake as a whole. It's kind of, it's going to be kind of within that specific area.
All right, that's good to know that these beaches will be open as soon as everything is okay. I'm sure everyone will love to hear that. Many suspect heavy rain may contribute to contamination. Can you explain how rainfall triggers these spikes and what precautionary steps beachgoers should take?
Yeah, absolutely. I have to agree that rainfall is going to be a key indicator of the potential for beach closure. I mean, this has been an extremely wet summer, definitely above average rains this summer. I think measured in the city of Detroit, they've even had record-setting single-day rainfalls this year, at least one or two. So we've had a very wet season. So some beaches are more vulnerable to that wet weather than others. So one thing to look out for, certainly, the first thing you should do before you go swimming is check our website. Are we sampling the beach that you're going to? And if we are, is it open or closed? If it's closed, you should never go swimming in a beach that's closed. We also have signage that we will post at the beach when it is closed. It's a pretty big, bright yellow sign. It's hard to miss if the beach is closed. And then you might also see a sign that says advisory. Now, that advisory is there's some pre-indication that the bacterial levels might be high, and you should definitely swim with extra caution if you see that advisory sign. If the beach is not being monitored, just kind of a real basic rule of thumb is, after a heavy rain, maybe wait at least 24 hours before you swim in that lake.
That's a pretty good rule of thumb. I think everybody can take that with them as they go on. With the qPCR rapid testing pilot, how would you say, how has same-day advisory improved public safety at beaches like those in Kego Harbor, would you say?
Yeah, it's been a really, really good tool for us to use because what that allows us to do, it allows us to take a sample in the morning and then have a result by early afternoon. So it's considered a rapid test. We're able to run it on a number of the most popular public beaches here in Oakland County, and it gives us that same day result. So we get the result and we can tell you today whether it's safe to swim or not. It's a method that's evolving. The lab methodologies and the equipment and everything is constantly evolving. It's still kind of an expensive test. It's a little labor intensive. We would like to use it more. We just don't have the resources right now to expand that program, but we're always looking to, create opportunities where we can expand that program, do it for more beaches so we have more instant results for people so they know that it's not safe to swim today. It's been highly beneficial for us to be able to put out a warning based on those results until we can get the bacterial results back.
For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, I'm talking with Mark Hansel from the Oakland County Health Division, who's talking about a beach monitoring program that's currently underway throughout Oakland County to test around 100 beaches on about 70 inland lakes for weekly sampling of E. coli and making sure that these beaches are safe for people to relax and to swim in. So, Mark, what recommendations do you have for private lakefront property owners in Oakland County who may want to assess the water quality around their own homes?
Sure. If there's a designated swim area, there's kind of a methodology that we recommend that you would follow. Just kind of taking one sample really doesn't give you the whole story. If you have a swim area that you use routinely or frequently, we would recommend that you sample at least once weekly. And we do offer test kits for those beaches that we're unable to sample this summer. We do have test kits available here. It comes with a pretty detailed set of instructions, the encouragement to do it throughout the swim season. And it will come with 3 bottles. It's only like $12, and it is designed for use for swimming to determine bacteria levels. It's available at Health Division offices. We have offices here in Pontiac, and we have another office in Southfield.
Great. Good to have these resources for everyone to be able to check the water themselves. Now, obviously, we don't want anybody swimming in these possibly contaminated lakes, but sometimes some things might happen. Considering illnesses linked to contaminated water, such as digestive discomfort or skin irritation, what symptoms should local swimmers watch for, and when should they seek medical advice?
Sure. So some of the symptoms from, just what we would call, the official word is recreational water illness. Most common, it is going to be that gastrointestinal, the stomach cramps. It could lead to diarrhea. Occasionally, you'll have a low-grade fever even. But the skin contact can also cause rashes. You can have ear infections. some respiratory issues, even from inhaling water droplets that might be contaminated. So most often the symptoms are going to be fairly mild, or they're going to be unpleasant, and they rarely require a physician intervention. However, if you are having symptoms that are persistent or causing issues, we absolutely encourage you to speak with your physician and report illness to the health department, because we can do some additional investigation if we start seeing illnesses associated with a specific lake or swim area.
That's right. You don't want to sit on this kind of stuff. If you start to feel very dangerous symptoms, it's best to report them immediately and get the necessary help. Mark, I want to thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live. One question before we wrap things up. For West Bloomfield families planning beach outings throughout the rest of the summer, how can they best stay informed about closures or advisories in real time?
The best way to stay informed for closures in Oakland County is to visit the Oakland County website at oakgov.com/health, and you can just search for beaches right there at that website. But if you're traveling abroad, even in the state of Michigan, the Michigan Beach Guard website has results of every lake that's being monitored in the entire state. So take a look at those websites before you head out to the beach, and stay safe.
oakgov.com/health is where you can go to get that information. Mark, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
You got it. Thanks for having me.
Important things for everybody to remember as they're heading out to the water to enjoy the rest of this summer. If you are going swimming, make sure it is in a safe environment. We really appreciate Mark Hansel for stopping by and for sharing this info right here on the Splash Live. The Ticket to Tuition Sweepstakes offered 10 $50,000 and 40 $10,000 prizes to Michigan students who completed the FAFSA for the first time for the 2025-26 academic year. The prize winners have all been declared, and two of them are West Bloomfield High School seniors. Aja McCoy, who will be earning $10,000, and one of the big winners, Nathan Herbert, who earned $50,000 towards his academic journey. Nathan Herbert joins us on the Splash Live to tell us all about his experience and his feelings on this amazing prize. Nathan, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Of course. First and foremost, big congratulations. This is an incredible honor. How did it feel when you first found out that you had won the $50,000 through the Ticket to Tuition Sweepstakes?
When I first found out, honestly, it was pretty surreal. I thought it was fake at first. $50,000 is a lot of money, so somebody calling me and saying, "Hey, you won $50,000," it definitely does not feel like something that's real. So I went through a process of verifying that with my school counselor and everybody else involved, and it felt great. Honestly, it felt like a burden lifted off of my shoulders, definitely.
That's great. And you're right. It's definitely not the kind of phone call you get every day of like, hey, you won $50,000. So I'd imagine you're feeling a lot of elation. Can you tell us a bit about the sweepstakes itself? How did you enter and what made you decide to give it a shot?
So personally, I heard about it through a family friend that saw it on the news. And they saw the governor talking about it, how they'll have their own kids personally enter the sweepstakes, and they encouraged me to do it myself. And personally, I didn't think it'd be worth my time because I saw that it was basically like a lottery type of thing. But it was very easy to join. It took 10 minutes of my time max. It was very easy, and I'm just grateful that I joined it, honestly. It was definitely worth my time. It was something I forgot about by the time I won it. So I had to look back at it. And honestly, it was so effortless that I didn't even think about it twice before. By the time I won, it was just a huge surprise.
Hey, you said 10 minutes of your time, and that's all it takes to get you $50,000 towards your college education. How is this money going to impact your future, would you say?
Honestly, $50,000 has a larger impact on my future than I could even realize myself, right? So I get to go to a school that I really want to go to now. And it's just made the financial situation not an issue for at least the first few years of school for me. It'll cover tuition, room and board, my meal plan. It covers so many things. That'll make my life in college just easier, take away a lot of stress.
I'd imagine so. For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, I'm talking with Nathan Herbert, one of the big winners of the Ticket to Tuition sweepstakes, winning $50,000 for his academic career going forward. Now, Nathan, I'd imagine with getting this large sum of money, I've imagined you've taken the time to reflect on a lot of things. What can you say about the people or the experiences that have helped you reach this point?
Honestly, the people, just family members that encouraged me, even though I might not have wanted to, helped me fill out multiple scholarships. It's a lot of scholarships that I filled out. So I'm just really grateful to win this one. And the experiences, like I said before, it's just a lot of effort filling out countless scholarships, not only winning 1, 2, maybe 3 of them. This is a big help. And I'm just grateful for everything and everybody that played a part of that. Sure.
Absolutely. And winning a scholarship like this often brings new opportunities to the table. Are there any specific goals or ambitions that you now feel more confident pursuing?
Definitely. So I have some personal goals with going to my school of choice, which is North Carolina Agricultural and Technological State University. I'd like to get into their honors program. But with that, it would be a couple additional fees. So now I'm glad that I have this scholarship to help with that. And it just allows me to focus on my academic goals, right? And chasing the best grades that I can
Oh, looks like we have a slight, oh, no, we're all set. Sorry about that. Nathan, it looks like we had a slight audio or video glitch. If you could just continue.
Okay. I was saying it overall would just help with me pursuing my academic goals as far as getting the best grades possible for my future and achieving an internship and a job after college. Yeah, it just helps with the entire picture. So definitely.
Absolutely, and glad that the future is looking so bright for you, Nathan. You just said that you were going to be going to North Carolina A&T to study engineering. What inspired you to choose that field and choose that school?
Growing up in the West Bloomfield School District, I've definitely been a part of the STEAM program, and even in high school, I've been exposed to lots of computer-based subjects. We have engineering courses, computer courses, CAD, architecture, you name it. Honestly, our school district has done a great job of exposing me to the engineering side of things, and it's definitely been something that I've taken interest in as of late. Honestly, my whole life. In the West Bloomfield School District, they've done a great job of that. And so it's something that I just want to pursue in the future.
I love to hear that, Nathan, and glad to hear that your future's looking so bright and you got so many great things up on the horizon. I got one more question for you before we wrap things up. What advice would you give to other students who may be unsure whether opportunities like this are worth applying for?
Honestly, I'd say apply. Even if it's something that you don't want to do, because that will happen, right? At some point, you're going to lose the ambition to apply for things. It'll be like you'll apply to 20 scholarships, maybe win one. You might think it's pointless to apply to things. You might think it's not worth your time. It definitely is. Because for all you know, you could just win that one scholarship that could change everything, right? Even if it's smaller scholarships, $100, $500, $1,000, they add up. Over time, just apply for as many scholarships as you can to maximize the amount of money that you can win, for sure, because it's never enough. College is very expensive.
That is absolutely true, Nathan. And those are some very wise words for everybody to take away. Once again, a big congratulations for everything, Nathan. And thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
Of course, the Ticket to Tuition sweepstakes changing lives and providing great financial stability for so many students about to begin their college journey. So we appreciate Nathan for stopping by and for sharing this great information right here on the Splash Live. Plenty of other great stories and topics and news from right around Greater West Bloomfield to get into right after this. Live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. Bringing you stories and memories from Kego Harbor. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home.
Hi, I'm Marcia Gershenson, and I'm one of the Oakland County Commissioners that's lucky enough to represent West Bloomfield. And I'd like to congratulate Civic Center TV on having 1 million viewers on YouTube. I mean, that's incredible. Your viewpoint and your authenticity is so valuable. So congratulations on 1 million views. I'm proud to be one in a million.
A breath of fresh air will do you a world of good. Breathe in deep and let fresh renew your spirit in pure Michigan.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those barbecues you plan in detail for your family? Or your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
And now, back to The Splash, live.
Live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host, Jake Schaff, going over all of the biggest news and events from right here in Greater West Bloomfield. As we said earlier in the program, beating the heat is essential throughout the summer months. But that doesn't just apply to you, it also applies to your pets. Pet safety is very important to take into consideration, especially since heat stroke and heat exhaustion can affect them as well. Mike Palmer, the owner of Premier Pet Supply, recently joined us on The Splash Live to tell us what we can do.
Mr. Palmer, thanks for being with us again.
Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you back on the show as we are now into the thick of the summer season. We've already gotten a little dose of some of the summer heat and humidity that we experience, usually later on in the dog days of summer, right away in the first few days. So let's begin with that. When the heat comes in, and we know it affects us quite significantly, how does that often affect our pets, particularly our dogs that are outside for a significant period of time?
Well, I know this weather kind of came out of nowhere because we had a slow start to the season. It kind of hit us. And, you know, the one thing that we have to consider and think about is our pets are wearing a fur coat all the time, right? And so we got to keep that in mind and factor that in, that they don't have a way of kind of like shedding some clothes and putting on their summer clothes. So one thing I would say is just being very observant and conscientious of the temperatures and the times that you're allowing them to be outside. You might want to consider doing your daily walk very early or later in the evening when the weather's cooler. That's definitely a start.
Yeah, it's something that I've sort of employed myself into my daily routines when we have that sort of heat. I have family that lives out west, and that's what they do in Arizona and in California when they have the hottest seasons of the year. People get out in the morning or people get out in the evening, the midday, that's when you stay indoors. A good rule to apply for your pets. On the other side of that, sometimes you just can't avoid going outside. When it's time for your dog to do their business, they got to go outside, they got to take care of that and come back in. But what maybe are some products or some other actions that people can take to help counteract some of the effects of that heat on their pets in those moments?
For sure. Some of us, you know, we've got pools in back and the dogs don't want to be left out and they want to hang out with us. And, you know, some of us, and especially in West Bloomfield with all the lakes, definitely are out on the boat and out by the water. So the things to keep in mind and consider is having an area or plenty of spaces where the dog has shade provided, an area where we can really stay cool. making sure that there's clean, fresh, cold water always available to them. So throwing some ice cubes in that bowl from time to time, giving them, even like a summer treat, something that you can do from home easily is take an ice cube tray, throw some bone broth or some goat milk in there, maybe a few treats, and freeze that, or do the same thing inside a toy that will allow it. Freeze that as well and give that to them while they're outside, so it actually keeps them cool and helps them to cool down. A couple of things that we have in our stores that are very, very beneficial are cooling collars. Cooling collars in days past used to be something you would soak with water, throw in the freezer, and then it would just melt really quickly. The ones that we have now are really cool. They're by a company called Bay Dog, U.S. veteran-owned company, and what they have are a little gel packs inside the collar that you can throw that whole thing in the freezer. It freezes, you get it on the dog, and it can stay cool for hours.
And that can be really helpful during the summer season, whether we're, excuse me, in the middle of a heat wave where the heat indices are well over 100 degrees, or we're in a regular summer day where it's in the 80s, but it's full humidity. That can have a big effect on your dogs and your other pets that are outdoors. We think about, too, a lot of people with outdoor cats or with indoor and outdoor cats maybe have set up a catio outside. That heat also going to have a similar effect on them as well. The fur coats definitely come into play. Mike Palmer is with us from Premier Pet Supply, their West Bloomfield location in the Orchard Mall, located on Orchard Lake Road, just north of Maple Road in West Bloomfield Township. Mike, there is some key differences that can tell the difference between when maybe your dog is in danger of heat exhaustion or heat stroke during the summer season versus just regular exhaustion from play. So often when we're playing with our dogs, when we're out for a walk or we've been running around or playing around with them, they'll be panting for a while. What are some of the signs that that's not just regular panting and that's some sort of exhaustion that could potentially be dangerous for our beloved pets?
Sure. Now, panting is normal. Dogs don't have the sweat glands that we do in our skin, so they can sweat in a very small way through their paws and their pads. But panting is the way that they can release that heat from their body. So if you recognize or witness excessive panting, where they just seem to be at a point of lethargy or just completely not wanting and willing to move any further, it's really important that you get them somewhere where you can get them cooled down, get them in the house. You don't want them overdoing it, and something to consider too. We talked about walks or having them outside. That extreme heat affects them in different ways. What I would recommend people do before you get out there onto a paved area or even the asphalt is feel it. Put your hand on that. If it burns your hand, think about those pads on those feet of theirs. Very sensitive. They're exposed. Asphalt in 85-degree temperatures can get up to 120 degrees. Even concrete can get over 100 degrees. So it's really important that we watch out for that. There are actual cooling doggy boots that we sell in our stores, which are pretty cool. But obviously, just avoiding it altogether if you don't have something like that is really important because they can be injured.
You can do a lot of your local shopping online on premierpetsupply.com. Follow them for even more tips and tricks all throughout the summer and other critical seasons like winter. Some of the opposites of what we see in the summer apply then. They're across social media at Premier Pet Supply. That's Premier Pet Supply across social media. Mike Palmer is joining us on today's edition of the Splash Live. Mike, a lot of these principles we talk about for the summer season, they apply to our dogs in particular that are outside very commonly, but a lot of them also apply to our other pets, cats, even pets like rabbits or guinea pigs along the way as well. So what are some of the similar ways that these high temperatures can affect our other, maybe less common house pets as well?
Sure. It affects them all. Absolutely. Some of them are a little more resilient than others. Keeping your smaller pets like your cats, your guinea pigs, your bunnies, your hamsters, your gerbils, whatever it may be, indoors, obviously, but, in an air-conditioned area. And for some people that may not have air conditioning, run some fans in the room, make sure it's well ventilated. You don't want the humidity also affecting them because that is something that, all those guys are susceptible to. Unless you got a bearded dragon or some type of reptile, they actually love this type of weather, so you're good to go.
And I was at your location earlier on this week in West Bloomfield. I go to that one. I go to the one in Novi. That's closer to where I live as well. And what I love about going in is that both yourself and your team, you are playing a big role in the education of your customers as well. It's not just about getting them to buy those products when you walk in. So especially during this time of the year when they're coming in, maybe even first-time pet owners, it's their first summer with these pets. What role does education play in your everyday at Premier Pet Supply locations like ours here in West Bloomfield?
Yeah, I think it's a huge differentiator. We've got, people that are truly like trained even in nutrition in our stores and just all aspects, of general care, in the overall health of your animals and pets. So when you walk in our stores, you're not only going to get answers to your questions, you're going to get knowledge-based answers to those questions. And, we may not know everything, but we really know close to just about everything and every aspect that you may endure with your pet. So for the people in the West Bloomfield community and all the other communities that, we are fortunate enough to have our stores in, they find us as a sort and a resource. A lot of them may come to us before they make a vet visit or in the interim before they can make it to a vet to see if there's some way that we may be able to help them through a problem or situation prior. We're always going to obviously recommend veterinary care when, it's necessary, but we really pride ourselves in having knowledge-based customer service. It's something you can't get online or in the internet or sometimes even at the big box stores. We really, truly care. We've got, people that are very invested in educating themselves and in the overall welfare and health of your pets and your animals. And that's why we've been around for over almost 33 years now.
Yeah, and we want to congratulate you on that as well. Over 30 years of service here in Southeast Michigan, expanding all throughout the local area. You have stores all throughout the place, including right here in West Bloomfield on Orchard Lake Road. Mike Palmer is with us from Premier Pet Supply with a location, as we mentioned, in the Orchard Mall right here in West Bloomfield Township as we talk about pet health and some of the risks that come along with the summer season, what you need to be aware of. Of course, more information, helpful tips across social media. You can follow them at Premier Pet Supply. Mike, before we let you go, anything else that our audience should know on this topic before we let you go, or things coming up at Premier Pet Supply this summer?
I'd offer one piece of advice. Some people think it's a great idea to shave a dog down in the summer heat because it'll cool them down. That's a big mistake. The actual dog's fur, believe it or not, insulates them from extreme heat. So that undercoat is really important to remain intact. So keep that in mind. The one thing that I would offer is that end of July, we always run our Customer Appreciation Week. It's a week long starting July 28th. And we're really excited. We're offering 10% off all food and toppers, 30% off everything else in the store. It's something our customers have really grown to look forward to and mark their calendars for. And it makes us happy that, people get excited for it because it's our way of saying thank you and giving back to the wonderful support that we get from the West Bloomfield community and the other communities surrounding, the Metro Detroit area.
You can explore their products and see all their store hours from across Southeast Michigan on PremierPetSupply.com. Mike, thank you as always for your time.
Thank you so much for having me. Love it.
We want everybody to stay safe from the summer heat this season, especially you and your pets. We really appreciate Mike Palmer for taking the time to talk with us here on the Splash Live. Michigan's air quality has been impacted by the Canadian wildfires as of late, causing poor air quality and making it difficult to breathe, especially when you're involved in physical activities, especially when you're out on the water. Some things like that could lead to drowning. There has been a few drownings that have occurred throughout Michigan as of late. And we recently spoke with Lieutenant Brian Burwell from the Oakland County Technical Support Group for an important discussion on what to do when you're out on the water and making sure you stay safe.
Thanks for being here, Lieutenant.
Hey, Jeff, how are you, bud?
Doing just fine myself. Unfortunately, talking about some unfortunate news, I should say, but it's something that we should cover. Ultimately, I know we talked about this multiple times, and I hate to sound like a broken record, but some of these things must be reiterated. So with that being said, so many lakes in Oakland County, what unique challenges do you see residents facing around water safety?
Anytime, I think one of the biggest challenges we're faced right now is the cuts to the Marine Safety Grant. And those grants affect education. And that's one of the things that the Sheriff's Office is pushing more of, is to get more education out there, boater safety and water safety classes. So At the sheriff's office, we do offer one class a month for boating safety, hunting safety, other marine safety courses. But we're really pushing more boating education, boating safety. And that's a challenge for the sheriff's office because we have lost a lot of funding from that marine safety grant due to recent cuts from the state and federal levels. But I think anytime you're around water, the dangers present themselves. And, like we've talked about so many times before, that drowning is really a silent type of death. So, oftentimes people find themselves in trouble in the water and people around them do not know. Which is why we always encourage people to swim in a designated swim area. We always encourage people to swim where lifeguards are present. And certainly if you have any type of young children in the water, put those cell phones down and you're paying attention to the children in the water.
No, that's a really good point. And anytime we hear about a drowning, like I said, it's devastating to our community, and we hate to hear about it. And even hearing from higher ups and seeing news of celebrities like Malcolm Jamal Warner recently passing away on a vacation with his family through a drowning in Costa Rica, it just gives us, a note that we really need to be paying attention and be a little bit more aware. Now, despite repeated warnings, many still skip wearing life jackets. So what new strategies, if any, or partnerships is the sheriff's office exploring to make wearing these jackets a little bit more sexy?
Well, and one of the things that we're always pushing with life jackets is the importance of them. And, sometimes like with rescue equipment and safety equipment, it's kind of like the spare tire in the car. People are just not thinking about that spare tire in the car until something happens and they need it. About raising awareness, and that's one of the things I'm gonna go back to a lot is this, these cuts in marine funding and how it affects our marine safety grant and the programs we like to teach here at the sheriff's office that explain why life jackets are important, and understanding people that they're in the right life jackets, they're properly sized, and they understand why they need to wear those life jackets. And I mean, so many of these tragedies are so avoidable, and often that like a seatbelt in a car, the life jackets don't work if you don't wear them. So you got to wear those life jackets, and even having those throwable devices handy on a boat. Boaters, they go out on the lake, it's going to be a great day. And again, we want people to come out on all our waterways and enjoy the activities on the lakes. But people keep those life jackets buried in a cabinet or a cupboard. They don't have easy access to life jackets. They don't have easy access to a throwable device. And then somebody gets in trouble in the water, and hey, where is that life jacket at? Well, it's in a bag which is zipped up and
tucked in somewhere and locked. Yeah.
And it's those are those things that 5 seconds before going out on the boat, taking some time to make sure all your stuff's in good working order. Stuff gets wet in a boat, so you get maybe some mildew, and you haven't looked at device and maybe since last season, and now the straps are worn or there's a rip in it, and compromise that float integrity is going to be compromised when there's rips in life jackets and things like that.
No, that's a solid point, because we only have so many months throughout the year that we can get on a boat. Other than that, the boat and everything is put up. So it will make sense to go back and revisit that. And not to be insensitive, just to go back, when I mention the word sexy, I'm only saying that in the sense that a lot of people just don't see it as a cool thing to do, to wear a life jacket when you're out on a boat having a good time or drinking or whatever the case may be. But like we said, it may not be the most appealing thing, but it's still something that we need to be doing. When with me right here live on The Splash from Oakland County Technical Support Group Specialized Units Patrol Services Division, we have Lieutenant Brian Burwell talking about some of the unfortunate recent drownings here in Oakland County and just giving out more tips and practices for water safety. Now, let's go back to what you were talking about in regards to checking some of that equipment. Do you have any advice for families to check watercraft equipment or even safety gear before heading out to the water? Are there any inspection events, checklists that you would recommend?
100%. And we talk about this again in that boater safety program, which is why we encourage so many people to take those courses. But right at the start of that boating season, we always tell residents, hey, take 5-10 minutes, open up all the cabinets, all the storage compartments on your boat, pull everything out. Take a good look at the beginning of the season. Certainly, if you have any questions, you can call the sheriff's office, and we can help guide people through that. But you take a good look at them, your safety equipment, and make sure, everything is in good working order. The fire extinguisher's charged, you have a good first aid kit on board, you have a signaling device, the horn works in the boat. Those little things, when an emergency occurs on the lake, you're going to be way better prepared for it. We talk about life jackets and you say, people don't like wearing them. Well, if you're jumping off the side of a boat and you're in 80 feet of water and you can't touch the bottom, it's probably a good time to put that life jacket on. If you're in a swim area that's designated and you're in knee-deep water, you may not be wearing a life jacket at that point if you're not a small child. So I think it's exercising that judgment, but understanding that, man, I'm in deep water here. If there was to be an emergency, a medical issue, things like that happen. And also knowing what to do in an emergency. Where am I at on the lake?
Good point.
Having access to a cell phone. The other important thing too is having a last seen marker where if something did happen to somebody in the water, you can drop a marker down real quick. That'll mark that spot. These are only a few dollars at any boating store, but so important because boats do drift. So when somebody does go under, we know exactly where to start that search because every second counts when you're talking about trying to rescue someone and save a life. So
100% agree. And that's why you have the experience, you have the expertise, and that's why you were hit on so many different perspectives that we may not even be able to recognize here. We got to let you go, Lieutenant. But lastly, if I'm not mistaken, alcohol may have been a factor in one of these drownings as well. It's the summertime, people are on boats, they're having great fun, they're enjoying themselves. So alcohol could be involved in some time. Is there any advice, tips that you would give to boaters or people out in the water who are engaging in alcohol as well?
Just be aware that it's going to affect you differently on a boat than on land. People don't understand when you're on the water, the sun is beating down on you, you're consuming more alcohol than you probably would if you were on land. And just understanding moderations. If something happens out here in an emergency situation, you're able, one, to handle it. And again, always encouraging people, take first aid, CPR classes. And that way, if you do find yourself in that situation, you know what to do. But a lot of these incidents center around alcohol being a factor in these boating accidents, especially fatality accidents. And just asking people to drink in moderation. Certainly go out and enjoy the water, have a great time, but just understanding that, maybe be aware of the fact that boat's moving, that motion, elements are on you, and drinking in moderation.
Yeah,
Be responsible.
No, well said, well said. And once again, our hearts and our thoughts go out to the families of these victims as well. And we just want to put this message out so anyone else watching or listening can be proactive as they go out on the water. We want to thank you again for your time and your information once again from Oakland County Technical Support Group, Specialized Units Patrol Services Division, Lieutenant Brian Burwell. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Important information we hope everybody takes with them. But that is going to do it for us today here on The Splash Live. Big thank you to everybody on our team and for all of our guests for stopping by. I've been your host, Jake Schaff. Live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.